Right. Now I want to get deeper into report types. So the way to think about report types is that we have your data. So that's the input. So you can upload various different types of data. Like you can choose Excel files, audio files, Word docs, etc. They can be very kind of unstructured, messy data as your inputs. You can also choose to reference knowledge bases, as we've touched on before. You can actually use knowledge bases where you've stored various document types in your knowledge bases down here. You can actually reference those as well, so you don't have to actually upload the files every time. You can reference knowledge bases that you've already created. So that's your data input. But then you want to have to choose how ReportsAI is going to process that data into an output. So as we've touched on before, there's various ways of doing this. You can use the prompt box here, so you could write your own prompt, or you can choose some of our prompts, which will auto-populate. Like you can choose financial report, M&E report, and you've got a prompt ready to go that we've created for you, or you can create your own in there. But the other way is to go here and choose a report type, which a report type is essentially still operating like a prompt, but you can build them and then reuse them over and over again. So you can see I've built loads of different ones here for various different things, from like focus group summaries to platform usage reports. You can make any type of report, and that's what's great about this platform, is that you can really tailor it to whatever your needs are. And as we covered in the template demo, you can also have a lot more control over the formatting of the output by building templates that we then process the data into populating a template. But this session I'm going to cover just report types. So you can come here, choose one of the ones that you've already created, or create your own. I'm going to show you how you can jump to also this section down here, my report types, where you can see all of your different saved report types. So you can come here and you can edit any of the existing ones, or you can create a new one, you see up here. So let's just have a look at this one, because in a demo before, I kept this super simple, like monthly field activity report, and as simple as that, and then some compliance requirements to say that it needs to contain activity, challenges, and achievements. So in the feedback on the final output, it will assess whether it meets those compliance requirements. And you can see that when we're processing your data, we're going to be looking for things like activity, challenges, achievements, because it knows that that's how it needs to process that data into the output that meets those requirements. But you don't have to be as simple as this. So I'm going to show you a much more complicated example. But what's great about this is that you're able to really build these report types as your own asset, so you can improve them over time. And obviously they get saved within your platform. So if you're constantly doing monthly field activity reports, you can always be improving, curating, and enhancing this monthly field activity report to get it to where you want it to be. And then that becomes your reusable asset that you can use each month every time you're generating these monthly field activity reports. So that I'm going to put in a much more complicated description here, something that's much more in depth. See this operational monthly field report summarizing activities implemented during the reporting period for a maternal health program, the Safe Births program, which this is what Emoja Health, what this demo account is set up for. They implement the Safe Births program, so it's targeted at that. And you see, you can say stuff like this report must include reporting period and geographic coverage, summary of activities, etc. So what you'll see is that because you've said this report must include, and you've selected these sections, you'll notice that if you don't provide that information, you'll see when the output comes out, it will have in yellow highlighting saying that you need to get information on the reporting period, or you need to include information on the geographic coverage, because it knows that it needs to include that information. But because you haven't provided it, it will let you know that. It won't just make stuff up, and it won't just pull stuff from random sources. It's always going to be based on your data inputs. So you'll notice it will be in yellow highlighting, it will be requesting that information. So you can see how detailed this is, things about the KPIs, etc. You can really be as detailed as you want here. And then for the compliance requirements, it's similar. Like if there's things that you know that you need to include, you can also include that within the compliance requirements of the report type. So you get to add additional stuff here. So before I kept it super simple, is that you need to include activities, challenges, and achievements. I'm going to make it much more enhanced now, much more detailed. Indicator compliance, you must use approved KPI definitions from the log frame. So obviously for this particular report, we're going to have it expected to have uploaded a log frame with KPIs. And when we're processing all of your data, the model is going to be looking for KPI definitions. It's going to be looking for monthly figures versus cumulative totals. It's going to be looking for all this stuff that we've mentioned in here. And as I was saying, I think it's really important to be aware of, like when you're building these report types, you can be working on them over time, improving them all the time, and then saving them again, and then it becomes that reusable asset for your organization. And this is how you can basically improve the quality of your reports over time, and also ensure compliance of your reports over time. So compliance is so important in this space, and that's why we've built this platform like this, and that's why it's built for this specific use case, and why it can outperform what these other AI models can do, is because we take things like this into account. Compliance requirements are very important for this space. So you need to be able to define those. And then when we're processing the data, we're going to be trying to generate an output that meets these compliance requirements. But anywhere where it's missing the data, it's going to tell you that that data is missing. It's not going to fabricate anything. It's not going to pull it from random sources. It's going to tell you. And that's how you ensure reliability and trustworthiness of your outputs, is that we're letting you know where you need more data. You can then go collect that data and then regenerate afterwards. So this is how we're keeping the quality extremely high. So I'm just going to save those changes. Now we've got a much more extensive monthly field activity report there. And for using that, you can use the report type in My Report Projects, or in generating a report. So usual details, you can add various files, Excel files, audio notes, etc., rough field notes. I think I've got some more even down here with more details. Narrative stories. No, I'm just going to add a bunch of random field activity kind of information. This is all fabricated information, by the way, so there's no kind of nothing to worry about being able to see the output. Then I can just come here. I could pick knowledge bases if I wanted to as well, and I can just select that report type that we created, monthly field activity report. Okay, happy with that, and then I can generate. See, now we've generated that, and again, you see the yellow highlighting where it's made assumptions, and it's essentially following the structure that we dictated within that report type. So that's how you can have a lot more control over how your data is going to be processed into what output. Exactly how do you want that output to look? You can specify that. You can work on these report types, get them to a point where you're happy with them, and then they become a reusable asset for your organization, just like templates. So this platform is all about how do you build like repeatable workflows. So if you have a particular report type, how can you optimize that report that you're doing, say monthly, quarterly, yearly? How can you optimize that, get the report type exactly where you want it, so you know that your data is being processed into the output that you want, is meeting all the compliance requirements that you need to meet. And then it's all just about uploading your new fresh data, and the model will take care of processing that into the output that you need. And that's all for today.